It's a pleasure to be joined today by Francois Margolin, who is a French documentarian whose latest film, Jihadists, builds on his decades of experience traveling and filming in the Middle East and in Afghanistan and Northern Africa. Francois, I've had a chance to view the film, and it is extraordinarily interesting. And I think maybe a place to start would be what's the thesis? What's the idea of this film? What are you hoping to show people?
The idea of the film was to demonstrate that the people that we call terrorists, who make a terror attack in Paris, in United States, in Syria, in Iraq, everywhere, they are not fool. They are not crazy. They have an ideology. And it was important for me to understand what is this ideology. I'm working on the subject since 25 years. I was the only one to make a film about the Taliban in Afghanistan 1 year before September 11. And I know these people. I know that they are not crazy. They have like a logic of things. And it was important for me to be in the head of these people to understand better what they want and also maybe to fight against it better. But it was very risky, very difficult, and I had a lot of contacts since long time. And I made this movie with a friend of mine who is Muslim. I'm not Muslim. He's a Mauritanian journalist living in Paris, and we were working together during the war in Libya. And we decided to go to see these people when they were in Timbuktu, because Timbuktu is a place in north of Mali where the people are speaking French. And in reality, it's not so far from Paris. It's 5 hours by flight. It's less than from LA to New York. So it was important for us to go to see these people, and after that to see leaders of Al Qaeda in Islamic Maghreb, also to meet some theoreticians, thinkers of Salafism, because I think it's important to know what is in the head of people they decide to make war to the Western world.
Yeah, one of the things that sometimes from the West is an easy thing to believe is that anyone who is willing to commit these horrible acts of terror that take place in many parts of the world, that we can simply say it's mental illness. They're crazy. That's it. But one of the things that I think your film does a good job of exposing is that without defending anything that they're doing, of course, there's no defense of what they're doing. If you understand the circumstances in which these individuals are living, if you understand the geopolitics and the upbringing and what's taking place in their countries, there's what I would call like an internal logic to how they become radicalized.
Yes, there is a lot of reason of radicalism on terrors, but I think when you give explanation is not enough. If you say, for example, that is not the same problem, that Hitler had problem with Jews because he was refused as a painter in Vienna when he decided to go to be a painter, is not a good explanation. It's not enough to understand why he decided to kill 6 million of the Jews.
Right.
So the social reason, the political reason, the geopolitical reason, the different reasons like that are not enough to understand what is religious ideology, because it's very different from the other ideology we meet in the last century, maybe since 2 or 3 centuries, because it's not a rational ideology. Even the Nazism, even the Red Khmer, a lot of people who commit massacre everywhere, they have they trust in rationality. And the problem with this type of Muslim, I say very clearly, all the Muslims are not like that. And maybe the most important reason I made this movie is to make this distinction between Salafists and other Muslims. It's very important to understand that they are not in the ordinary logic that we know since long time. And it was important for me because it's very simple. It's very easy to think all these people are crazy, but it's not true. It's not true. Some people are rich. You know, the pilot of the jets of September 11th, they were from rich family from Saudi. In France, also some terrorists who attacked the Bataclan, they were coming from not very rich family, but not from poor family. Sometimes there are also poor people inside the terrorists. But it's not enough to understand that. Salafists use a lot of contradiction where they are. They use in Iraq, for example, contradiction between Shia and Sunni. In Mali, they use contradiction between black Africans and the Tuareg, who are Arabs in the north. They use everything to oblige people to come in their ideology, and it was important for me to see these people because another thing is very specific to Salafists. They don't trust very much in life on earth. They prefer life after the death in paradise. And it's very complicated with people like that to discuss and also to convince him to be like other humans. It's very complicated. Really, I know what they have in the head since long time, and it's very specific.
And Francois, how did you convince people to speak to you? Because there are a number of interviews in the film where you get into what are very personal and sensitive topics with individuals who could conceivably be moved to commit violence against you if they perceive your motivations to be not advantageous to them. So how did you convince people to talk to you? What did you tell them that you were doing?
But it was very complicated. I have a relationship with these people, and these people, they are like everybody in the world. They like to speak on TV. For me, it was not exactly TV because it's a film, but they like that because they want to defend their point of view. And with us, it was maybe easier than with other people because I made a movie, the only movie in Afghanistan at the time of the Taliban when they are at the power. It was in 2000, 1 year before September 11. For them, it was a reference. It was not a film for them. But to be in Afghanistan at this time, it was very important. It was like it was a paradise for them. It's not true. I confirm, but it's like that. Now with internet, it's possible to contact these people because they have address. If they don't want to answer, they don't want to answer. But with us, because I say us, because my friend Lemin Ul Salam is Muslim, is Mauritanian, he has also contact. It was a little more simple than for other people, but a lot of these guys refused to make interview with us. It was we spent 3 years to make this movie because between two interviews, sometimes it was 3 or 4 months to wait an answer. So it was very complicated, very risky because when we were in Timbuktu, for example, we were like 1,000 kilometers from the next military place. So I was in the end of these people. If they wanted to kill me or to take me as an hostage, it was very easy for them.
Yeah, and were there circumstances where you were fearing for your own safety? Are there any particular moments where things were not looking particularly good?
Yes, it was very dangerous, but In reality, I'm in conscience of that. I was for in the past in Afghanistan of the Taliban. I was with children soldiers in Liberia. We were drug addict. I, I hope I'm lucky, but
What
maybe
precautions do
one day
you take? I mean, I understand
it's
you're
coming.
saying
What is
you're
that?
sort of you're accustomed to being in these situations because of the work that you've done, but what are some of the precautions that you take that someone who is not experienced in these areas may not know to take?
I don't make. I have no precaution.
Is that right?
I trust in humanity. It's my only only way. Maybe it's a big mistake, but my a big part of my family was killed in Ukraine and Lithuania during the Shoah by bullets, and I, I, I think I try to trust in a new humanity. Maybe I'm making a big mistake, but I want to be optimistic on that.
Well, you made it, so I guess in that sense, your optimism was not completely completely without reason. There was a moment during which this film was banned in France. Is it still banned in France? And can you talk about why that was?
Yes, it was censored integrally at the beginning, and now it's only for people over 18 years old. It's crazy because it's not the problem, but the rules in France are when a film is forbidden for people under 18, it's impossible to show the movie on the TV.
Mm.
In reality, the film was co-produced by two very important channels in France, Canal Plus and France Télévisions. And with this interdiction, it was not possible for them to show on TV. And until now, it's not on TV. And I think on TV it will be a very important thing to show this movie. And I hope in the future it will be possible because what I know about censure, I don't know in English,
Censorship, yeah.
censorship. It's is never for all the time for the future. It was a lot of films in France. They were censored by François Truffaut, by Chris Marker, by Alain Resnais, by Jean-Luc Godard in the past, by Jean Renoir just before the Second World War. At the end, now the people, nobody remember this film was censored at this time. So I hope in the future the people will change their mind because everywhere when I show the film in France, the people were very. I don't know. The word "happy" is not very good for this film because it's not a
No.
film. It's not a feel-good movie, but it's very interesting. And the people were absolutely surprised of this censorship also in France. Really.
We've been speaking with French documentarian Francois Margolin, whose latest film, Jihadists, is now available. Francois, thank you so much for talking to me about your film today.
Thank you very much. I was very happy to talk with you, with my Franglish. Yes, not real French.